So part of a playbook is sort of creating something that's repeatable then as well. I mean, you touched on it slightly earlier about experimentation then. How do you sort of blend experimentation with creating something that's repeatable? Because there's a lot of talk about certain channels, you actually running out of bandwidth in certain channels after a while. The costs are perhaps going up, or they're just working, they're not working as well, if you like. How do you sort of blend that sort of repeatability with the experimentation then?
Create an experimentation backlog, right? So have regular experimentation brainstorming sessions with your team, with other people from the business, and just capture ideas and just start logging those in a backlog, and then make it a commitment to start executing those experiments on a regular basis. That in itself becomes its own playbook, and it becomes its own area of ideas that you can then tap from and say, yeah, this experiment idea came from our customer success team, and it's, we should go back to that well because they've got some really interesting ideas and it really had this kind of impact. And with the experimentation backlog, again, also create that so that it's in a very transparent way. So let people know, hey, if you've got ideas, here's a form, drop your ideas in for experiments that we can run as a demand generation or a growth function, and then decide sort of how you want to prioritize those based on a pretty simple, just sort of RICE method, and figure out, how many people can you actually touch and impact with that. And it's repeatable in the sense that if you create a process around it within the business to do that, then that's going to work. But, sort of pulling it back to the playbook idea is that might not work for the business, right? You may walk into a business where experimentation is not a thing that is favored or desired. And I can think of plenty of industries where you probably can experiment much, healthcare and legal and, areas that are highly regulated, where if you went in and you just started whacking in a bunch of experiments, quick, fast, and dirty, you might find yourself in a bit of trouble. And that might not be the best approach. So you've got to sort of take the temperature of the business and understand, whether or not you need to make those organizational changes first, and get everyone on board why you want to do that. Or if you just have to say, look, we're actually not going to have a culture of that sort of experimentation here. Or if we are, we're only going to do it in these very sort of niche, narrow bands that we can operate in.
Yeah, because it's time consuming as well, I guess, is the experimentation. It's good to be doing it, but ultimately you've only got so much bandwidth as a potentially small marketing team as well. You push from pillar to post as it is anyway, really.